Have you ever wondered what our world might feel like if all the lines on the map simply softened? Imagine the entire planet open to you, from Patagonia to Marrakech to Kyoto. No forms, no appointments, no anxious waits for a stamp in your passport. You simply decide to go, step onto a plane. And when you step off, you are free to stay, to learn, to contribute. This simple idea, a world without visas, is an immensely useful thought to hold. Think of a student in Lagos dreaming of Tokyo, a coffee farmer in Peru with beans for Nairobi, or a musician in Prague yearning for Rio. For each, the journey isn't just one of distance, but of permission. Visas are the gatekeepers, demanding time, money, and paperwork with no guarantee of success. A world without these barriers wouldn't solve every problem, but it would change the nature of possibility for millions. This isn't about erasing cultures, but exploring what happens if we lower the administrative walls between us. The idea of a visa-free planet is an invitation to think about movement, work, and how our cultures might mingle and grow. It's a quiet challenge to our assumptions, forcing us to look closely at why we have these rules and whether they still serve us. We'll explore the history of our borders, the potential economic and cultural shifts, and the very real concerns about security. To understand a world without visas, it helps to first understand how we came to have them. For much of human history, people moved with remarkable freedom. Barriers were natural, mountains and oceans, traders on the Silk Road, nomadic peoples following the seasons, families seeking new lands. The 20th century changed everything. The rise of the modern nation-state and 2 world wars led countries to harden their frontiers. Visas and passports became the main tools to vet visitors, protect jobs, and guard against threats. What was once an exception became the global norm. But the system keeps evolving. In Europe's Schengen area, citizens can travel, work, and live across borders with few checks. A journey from Lisbon to Helsinki can feel like one between 2 cities in the same country. In a world where information, money, and ideas flow instantly, we can ask if these human inventions are still the best tools we have. Let's consider the movement of money and work. The economic consequences of a visa-free world would be truly profound. When people can move freely, they can take their skills where they are most needed and valued, creating a more efficient global labor market. Companies could find the right talent more easily, fostering innovation and growth. For individuals, it would mean the freedom to seek opportunities across the globe, leading to better livelihoods. The most immediate impact might be in tourism. Imagine booking a last-minute trip to any corner of the earth without administrative hurdles. Tourism could flourish, bringing a surge of income to local economies. Small businesses and entrepreneurs would find new markets, forging partnerships that support entire communities. The free flow of people is linked to the free flow of commerce and ideas. However, this shift presents considerable challenges. A rapid influx of people could strain public services, housing and jobs, potentially making life more difficult for existing residents. Governments would need to invest substantially in infrastructure to accommodate a growing population. These are not simple problems, and they require careful, cooperative planning. The economic outcome would be a complex tapestry. The benefits of a more dynamic, global workforce could be enormous, but they must be balanced by policies that protect vulnerable workers and ensure the gains are shared broadly. Money sent home by people working abroad could rise dramatically, but this must be paired with investment in local economies so people can thrive where they are. The question is not just about growth, but about fair and sustainable growth for all. Beyond the realm of economics lies something perhaps even more fundamental: the question of culture. A world with fewer barriers would mean greater cultural mixing. Think of the food you eat, the music you listen to, the stories you love. So many have been enriched by migration. In a visa-free world, this process would accelerate. This constant stirring of the human pot is a powerful source of creativity and innovation. But this exchange is about more than art. It's about people. When individuals from different backgrounds live and work alongside one another, they learn from each other, breaking down prejudices that thrive on distance. Barriers dissolve with shared human experience. Friendships, intercultural marriages, and families would become more common, weaving us together in intricate patterns. Languages would mix and evolve, fostering greater multilingualism, allowing more of us to speak heart to heart. Yet, this cultural change can also feel unsettling for some. When new customs arrive, it's natural to worry that what makes a home unique is being diluted or lost. A successful open world finds a way to celebrate the new while still honoring the old. It's a delicate balance, requiring empathy and respect from everyone. Perhaps the greatest cultural gift of freer travel is empathy. When you share a meal with a local family and listen to their stories, you don't see a stranger, you see a fellow human being. Of all the questions raised by a visa-free world, the one that weighs most heavily is safety and security. At present, the visa system is a crucial first line of defense, screening for everything from criminal histories to public health risks. So how would we prevent dangerous individuals from moving across borders? An open world cannot be a world where we are less safe. The answer lies not in abandoning security, but in reimagining where and how it takes place. Borders would still exist, but the change would be a shift from pre-screening every traveler to a more intelligent, data-driven system focused on genuine threats. This requires unprecedented international cooperation. Police and intelligence agencies would need to collaborate more closely than ever, sharing information seamlessly to track and disrupt terrorist networks, organized crime, and human trafficking. A world with open borders could be exploited by those who prey on the vulnerable. The solution isn't building higher walls, but addressing the root causes, investing in economic development, creating safe legal pathways, and enforcing international laws to protect the right to move with dignity. This requires us to be smarter on security, building a world where our collective safety is ensured not by separate fortresses, but by a network of shared intelligence. Managing this would be unthinkable without modern technology. Imagine a secure, globally recognized digital identity for every individual, stored on a personal device. A formidable challenge, but one that asks us to rethink security while ensuring these new systems don't infringe on personal privacy. Your identity, qualifications, and health status all under your control. At a border, a simple private scan could confirm your identity in seconds, making crossing smooth and efficient. Biometric technology offers a reliable way to confirm you are who you say you are. Combined with shared watch lists, this lets officials focus on high-risk individuals while the majority pass with minimal delay. The key is the protection of privacy. Data must belong to the individual, governed by transparent international laws. Beyond security, digital tools can soften borders, helping people connect, work, and thrive. But opening up the world requires more than technology. It demands a rethinking of our laws, health systems, and our sense of fairness. Visas are deeply embedded in national legislation, tied to work permits, taxes, and social benefits. A visa-free world would require a new legal framework to answer practical questions about taxation, public services, and labor rights. These new rules would need to be clear, fair, and consistent for everyone. Public health requires careful governance. As we've seen, infectious diseases don't respect borders, and in a world with more travel, a virus can spread more quickly. To manage this, we need a global public health system, strengthening institutions and establishing universal protocols. But perhaps the most profound challenge is global fairness. Currently, the passport you hold determines your freedom of movement. A citizen of a wealthy country can travel visa-free, while one from a poorer nation faces immense hurdles. This is a profound global inequality. A visa-free world could be a powerful force for leveling the playing field, giving people from developing nations greater access to education, work, and personal growth. It could reduce the global gap between rich and poor, allowing talent to flourish regardless of birthplace. However, without careful design, new inequalities could emerge. The wealthy might still find it easier to travel, while the poor face new barriers. The goal must be to design truly equitable systems, making the right to move a practical reality for the many. not a privilege for the few. We don't have to imagine a world with open borders. The Schengen area in Europe is the boldest experiment in free movement, a political miracle born from a continent once torn by war. For millions, crossing a border is now ordinary, fostering deep economic integration and forging a shared European identity. The successes are clear. It made trade more efficient, tourism simpler, and labor markets more flexible. This freedom of movement is a cherished right, a tangible symbol of peace and cooperation. It shows sovereign nations can pool authority for the common good. But Schengen also teaches us about immense challenges. The system depends on strong external borders, but managing them is hard, especially in crises like the 2015 migrant crisis and the recent pandemic. These events highlighted the need for deeper cooperation, showing that openness requires not an absence of control, but a collaborative form of control. Gains are immense, but not automatic. They must be secured by strong institutions, fair laws, and political commitment. Global expansion must be built step by step, starting with regional agreements that build trust and infrastructure. The idea of a world without visas is not a simple proposal, but a profound question. It's an invitation to imagine building a better, more connected, and compassionate future for all. It challenges the lines we've drawn on maps and in our hearts, asking us to trust each other a little more. This isn't a journey completed overnight, but a gradual process of small, careful steps, perhaps with regional agreements or digital nomad zones. The path forward is uncertain, but the conversation is one worth having. We could use these experiments to learn, refine the technology, and test legal frameworks. Each small success builds public confidence, a stepping stone towards a more open world. Built on practical experience, this returns to the most fundamental of things, our shared humanity. Stripped of our passports and nationalities, we are all simply people. We share the same basic hopes for our families, for meaningful work, and the freedom to learn. Travel is a conversation between cultures, a bridge of understanding built one encounter at a time. A world without visas is not a perfect world, but it would be a world with one less barrier between us, a world that has chosen connection over separation and trust over fear. This small blue planet is the only home we have, and we all share it together. If you could open one border tomorrow without fear or consequence, which would it be? And what wonderful thing do you imagine might happen?